Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is TU Football Update, brought to you by Brahms. Here's Jeremie Poplin.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome in to a Tulsa Football Update. My name is Jeremie Poplin. Thank you for choosing Oklahoma's own sports for this version of a football podcast featuring Tulsa as they go on the road to West Point. Now, we'll hear from Tre Lamb coming up in a bit. We'll hear from Jeff Monken coming up in just a bit as well. But I got to tell you, there are times as someone that has been on the sidelines now since 2014 that one of my favorite websites is always futureschedules.com, because I'll go and especially now that I'm getting older, I forget like what series are signed years in advance. And when Army joined the American, and this is just me being completely selfish here off the top. Like and subscribe, by the way. You be selfish and like and subscribe to this channel. But there are times that you might start peeking ahead a little bit to games that you would circle. And you know how the scheduling works in college football. These things are scheduled so far in advance that sometimes it feels like it would take forever to get there. And there were a couple that did actually feel like that it took a very long time to get there from when they were first announced. So I can think off the top of my head the games that you obviously circle. Like year one, year two is fine because, you know, you're kind of new to the landscape and you're just excited to go anywhere. Then you get into conference play. You've been to these places before until now. I was jacked to go to Annapolis for the very first time. If you have not been, I would suggest that you go and you just carve out not just the time for the game, but you go because you could spend an entire day walking around to the monuments, to everything that's dedicated to the foreign wars fought by the Marine Corps and the Navy. It's incredible, still to this day, and I feel like every time that I go there, I find something that's new or that I haven't been able to read yet, how certain seats are dedicated to former soldiers. I'm as equally jacked to go to West Point on Saturday. This is one that when Army came into the league, I was like, oh man, I cannot wait. I cannot wait until that actually becomes real. And here we are on the verge of heading up to West Point. Some of the other games that I can think off the top of my head, like obviously circled Washington from when it was announced. Ole Miss for sure, the Ohio States, the Texases of the world. But even some of the lesser known ones, like I don't know, it was like Wyoming. Like that one was circled on mine for a while, it felt like. Arkansas at home is one, just because, I mean, there's a good chance that might end up leaving this earth before you got to see Arkansas coming and playing at Tulsa. But you get what I mean, and this one holds such a, it just sets on a pedestal for me and for so many people that have gone. One of my friends, Chris Plank, whose son is at West Point, has gone up there and watched the game and has visited his son and just texted me and said, man, you're going to absolutely love it. So I'm super jacked about the opportunity to go, and I'm super jacked to see what happens with this team now that they've had a little bit of positivity in their lives after the Oregon State game. And not just a little bit of positivity, I mean a whole heck of a lot of positive thoughts and feelings and emotions after taking care of business from the get-go against Oregon State. They've only had a handful of those games throughout the entire season. Oregon State, Oklahoma State, Abilene Christian. That's really been it, where you didn't really feel like that there was a ton of adversity that was placed on them at a particular level that they didn't handle. They handled everything in that game on Saturday. And the coaches have always said, it's not just Tre, it's all of them that we talk to say, you know what, everything's great during practice. Like, these guys have been awesome. They've been awesome. Been one of Tre calls them one of his favorite teams. Every coach kind of echoes the exact same sentiment. That makes it so much better and so much sweeter when you get a victory like that, in terms of just seeing that you want to root for a quality level of a group, and that's what Tulsa has. So the locker room was fun on Saturday. The environment was really cool last Saturday as well, of just seeing kind of the sigh of relief like we could feel this kind of coming, we could feel this building, and now we've got 2 more opportunities with this group to go out and try to get 2 more to really kind of set the springboard heading into the offseason, which is just absolutely insane. Change the schedule when it comes to the portal. You never really know what you're going to get with college football. I mean, just look at today in the headlines with what's happened. Who knows what Lane's going to decide to do? Is Oklahoma State locking in on Golish? Summerall just said he's not interviewing with Florida this week. Of course, why would he? Why would he interview with Florida during this week? I mean, it's all going to be through intermediaries anyway, especially with his team potentially on the verge of clinching a spot in the college football playoff. And the American has a lot to say about what that final spot is going to be. Tulsa's trying to get there. These 2 wins, potential 2 wins towards the end of the season, could go a long way to kind of setting the stage for what in their grand scheme and grand plan is to be in that very same position that Tulane is in right now and that North Texas is in, and you can't forget about Navy. Speaking of Navy, what they will face in Army is a little bit different, not necessarily the same style of option offense that you will see. Army runs a lot of midline option, which should be familiar to those of you that have watched Army for a long period of time. But the big difference is that Monken a few years ago, is when they changed some of the blocking rules, 2022, they scrapped the offense and went to shotgun formation spread offense, and it just didn't work. I think they won 2 games that year, and basically Monken was like, well, we're canning this offense right now, and we're going to get back to what we do more of and what we have done throughout the entirety, but they kind of blended it a little bit, and they've been very successful with that so far. So without further ado, let's hear from Tre Lamb. I didn't get to attend the press conference on Monday because I had work responsibilities. I know, real job, right, that pays the bills. Trying to become a better leader in my own right. So I didn't get to go to the press conference, so a lot of this will even be new to me from Tre Lamb, and then we'll hear from Jeff Monken, the head coach at Army, as well, on what his thoughts on the University of Tulsa are.
Yeah, it's a good win for us. Really, really cool to see our excitement in the locker room after. Really happy for our seniors. We played a lot of young guys on Saturday, but we also have some seniors that are really contributing and finishing the year strong, which is good to see. Certainly helps lay the foundation for next year. Certainly gives us some momentum going into these last 2 weeks that are both winnable games and conference games. So no rest for the happy, or however you want to say it. We got back to work today, trying to get a game plan ready for Army. They're a really good ball club. Jeff Monken is one of the best coaches in the country, in my opinion, and he's won at a lot of different places with a lot of different style of play. And his teams are always very tough, physical, really good in the kicking game. I'm really impressed by how he coaches and the program he's built. He is a no-nonsense guy, and he's straight to the point, and his teams play that way. Nate Woody, their defensive coordinator, does an awesome job. Was my cousin's defensive coordinator at Appalachian State during their run there, and then Cody Worley, their offensive coordinator, was the starting quarterback at my high school. I was his backup for 2 years, and he was a couple years older than me, and then he's one of the few guys that played for my dad and my uncle. Played for my dad in high school and my uncle in college. So Cody's a great friend, great coach. They do a really good job. So I think they've kind of found their quarterback. I'm really impressed with their lines of scrimmage. Their linebackers are very active. They got some pass rushers that are going to be a problem for us. So yeah, certainly a challenge with the style of play. Our defense is going to get a couple extra walkthroughs in and make sure we're better against this running style than we were against Navy, because I did not think we were well prepared or played well against Navy on either side of the ball, and I thought we let an opportunity get away from us there. But super excited for the opportunity. It's going to be a beautiful day for football at West Point in November. And what else could you ask for? Questions?
Did you notice a discernible change, if any, in the way your team came in the last couple of days than they had the previous several?
No. I thought the practices have been great all year. We didn't make any stupid mistakes Saturday. We've been making about 3 or 4 really stupid mistakes, and I think that's a sign of growth. It's better coaching. But we didn't give them anything free. We didn't turn the ball over. I think the only silly thing we did was the bad snap on the field goal. Other than that, I thought we played a pretty clean game in all phases, and didn't have those one or two blunders, those drops. We didn't really have any drops, didn't really have any fumbles that went the other way for touchdowns. Really didn't, have the roughing the passer that led to a scoring drive, or didn't have a busted coverage where a guy falls down. And we've had a lot of that in the last 5 games, and we lost 5 in a row against good teams. But I was proud of our response. I haven't questioned these guys one bit in practice, and I told you guys last week, Saturdays have been a tooth pull at times. But I was really proud of the way they came out. They played. They were ready to go from the beginning. Like, our locker room was very amped up because I challenged them. It was going to be an early kickoff. We had to be ready to go, and I was really proud of the way we came out in the second half and threw a knockout punch out of halftime. So, yeah, I didn't do anything different. Maybe played a little different music. I guess a new NBA Youngboy album came out, so we got them juiced up to that in the locker room. It shows my youth, 36-year-old head coach. But, yeah, man, they were ready to go. Really proud of their execution.
Will you address the approach this week against a team that is clearly going to be more motivated than the one that you played on Saturday?
Yeah, no question. This is a very motivated team. And they've been up and down at times this year, but they've been in every ball game. And even East Carolina, they dropped a couple 4th and 6 touchdowns that would have changed that game. So, yeah, when you play an academy, there's no question they're going to be ready to go. I mean, the most exciting 4 hours of their week is going to be Saturday at 11, and we've got to be able to match that for sure.
How is Zion Booker? Do you expect him to be back?
I expect him to play. I really do. I'm not just telling you guys that, and I really do. I'm hoping. I was hoping he'd play this week, but Donnell G, freshman, made a big catch for us. Josh Smith, freshman, made a big catch for us. We're playing some young guys, which is good for next year, but also finishing strong this year. But I expect Zion to play. I'd be surprised again if he didn't.
Talk about their quarterback's pretty good. Runs real well. Runs a lot. Talk about him.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing they do is they pound you, man. It is a physical game. Every position's going to have to be asked to tackle, and then they lull you to sleep and throw one behind your head or around you. It's just really physical. Their quarterback's physical. I mean, Temple was down 1 point, 14-13, with 10 minutes and 42 seconds left in the game, and never got the ball back. We ran 104 plays against FAU. We're prepared to probably run 50 this game. It's going to be way different. Like, you got to have a small call sheet. You got to make sure you're not wasting plays offensively. Then defensively, you got to do everything in your power to get them behind the chains and make them become a passing team.
And compare them, their offense to Navy. Navy passes a little more.
Navy's probably more common with what you see in common offenses now. Like, they're more power read from the gun. They're getting some pistol. They pass it, 15 times a game, where Army doesn't have to pass it if they don't want to. And they can beat you by running the ball 60 times with no passes. They've won a bunch of games under Coach Monken without attempting a forward pass. They don't have to. They're going to line up and beat you. I really like Navy's skill. I like Army's skill. I think they're comparable there. Blake Horvath, the quarterback at Navy's got more experience than this guy, but this guy's more than capable of beating you both ways, and I've been impressed with. They've played better since he's been in there.
Thank you. Do you have a sense yet whether Brody Foley absolutely is committed to being back here next year, or because I'm thinking he's draft eligible, he's had this great several weeks, right? He looks the part. I mean, where do you think he stands on all that?
I have this conversation with him about every week, and I feel very confident we're going to be able to retain him for another year, and I have a lot of confidence he's going to get drafted out of here and play for a long time. I think he's that good. The risk of him transferring up is he's back in the same situation he was in Indiana, where he's splitting reps and he's working. Yeah, working with 2 other guys and 3 other guys, and then all of a sudden he's only getting 30 plays a game. Where here he played 84 snaps last week, and he's got more touchdowns than any tight end in the country. I think he's got 9, 2 rushing and 7 receiving, and that's tops in all of football. So I don't know why you'd leave. You got everything you want right here. You've already tasted that level. We're going to be able to compensate him at a high rate, a very competitive rate, and I have no question. I think he's coming back.
Are you able to, if negotiate's the right word, are you able to talk about that now?
Mm-hmm.
And have you
Yes.
dealt with him?
Yeah, for sure. And we're doing that with a lot of guys. And there's just a few guys I don't feel great about retaining. I mean, there's some guys that are going to be highly sought after. That's the world we live in. We'll replace them with great players. I mean, the 3 things I'm really looking for in the portal is speed. I think we lack team speed. I'm looking for production. I don't care what level. He needs to be a touchdown scorer, or he needs to play a lot of plays and be productive in those plays. And the 3rd thing, I think we need more guys from winning programs. We got a lot of guys in that locker room that there's 12 guys on our entire roster with a winning record in college football.
So you think an additional 12 or 13 games here next year positions him much more favorably than just a half a season of great tape for the NFL?
Yeah, he needs to catch 60 balls next year and have 700 yards and 10 or 12 touchdowns. Like that's, I think he's hot. He'd be probably one of the first off the board, next year. I know the kid from Baylor's coming out this year. He's really good. Michael Trigg. But next year's draft class, we've had a few agents help him out on it, and he doesn't have an agent. So, trying to help him navigate what round he think he would go in and where would be a good landing spot for him. But we want him to be back here first and foremost to help us win games and help him have the career he wants. Because he goes somewhere else and sits out or doesn't have the same production, he's going to be a free agent at best.
All right. So he'll go through the advisory process and find. I see. So you see him every day. How do you think when he's in a combine setting? How do you think that?
He'll be all right. I mean, he's not going to run very fast. He'll be a 4.9 guy, which, I mean, I looked at it the other day. There's only like 3 receivers that broke 4.8. So, I mean, it's not like his size, because he's 6'5", 260, he can make up for a lot of that. I don't think he'll ever be like an elite, receiver in the NFL, like a Travis Kelce but he's got the physicality to play on the ball, run game, throw game. Like, I have no question he's gonna play for a long time. And he's tough. Like, he practices hard. He's really tough.
All right, that was Tre Lamb. Let's pause for a few moments to allow a message from our fantastic sponsors at Brahms.
It's time to enjoy the sweet taste of Brahms Strawberry Shortcake Sundae. Our creamy vanilla ice cream is nestled on top of Brahms fresh-baked golden bundt cakes, with spoonfuls of delicious strawberry topping all around, complete with fluffy whipped cream and a cherry, to create the perfect flavor combination. Strawberry goodness is waiting for you at Brahms.
I heard Toby and Chris the other day talking about Brahms sauce. Now, from what I understand, and I could be completely wrong in this, I think there's 2 different versions of Brahms sauce, but my old school version of Brahms sauce that you had to ask for when you went through the drive-thru was essentially like, pickle juice and ketchup. It was a very simple thing to find out of what was actually in this little canister of deliciousness, but very simple. But then I think they've changed it. I could be completely wrong on this and not know what I'm talking about, but I know about 10 years ago, it was a combination of like ketchup and pickle juice in Brahms sauce. But stop by your local Brahms on your way home. Trust me, they're everywhere, and they are fantastic through their fresh market and also through the traditional to the OG front and the ice cream. Let's hear from Jeff Monken, the head coach at Army, who had some very high praise for not only Tre Lamb, but for this Tulsa team.
Well, they've won some football games, and then they beat Oklahoma State, who's a Power 4 team. They beat Oregon State, who was a Power 4 in a Power 4 conference 2 years ago. Pardon me. They took Temple, who I think is a really good football team, to the wire. I think they got a good athletic football team, and certainly when I see those athletes that they've got, and they're a very well-coached football team. Coach Lamb, the job he's done in his first year there. And this guy's a winner. Now, he's a coach's kid. His grandfather was a great coach. His dad's a Hall of Fame, a legendary coach in Georgia. His uncle is a coach I squared off against when I was at Georgia Southern. And so he's from a coaching family and just a high-level competitor. He's been successful at 2 other Division I stops, and I know he's doing a great job there. So, the challenge for us is matching up athletically with the guys that they have, and so we're going to try to do that the best that we can, and we do it differently than a lot of people do it, but we do it because of those concerns that we have, and so hopefully it'll be good enough. We're just going to do our best on offense and defense to, as I said to Rich, to play our assignments, play fundamentally sound, and hope it'll be good enough.
All right, that'll do it for this version of the Tulsa podcast. Super excited to get up to New York City. We're going to land in New York City. Well, of course, dummy, you are. We're going to land in New York City. Then we're going to stay just right over the river in New Jersey. And then we'll make our way up. It's 11 a.m. kick, so it's going to be a long day. But, man, I am pumped about this opportunity to see West Point in person. It's going to be spectacular, and we'll have a full recap for you after that game is over. We'll do what we've done lately, which is take the post-game audio and interviews that we have and form a instant reaction podcast for you, so you are ready to go and accomplished heading into the Saturday night football schedule after having learned everything you need to know about University of Tulsa. Oh, and quickly before we go, shouts out to FC Tulsa playing on News on 6 at 11 a.m. on Saturday, trying to win a USL championship. My ties going back with that franchise now, back 10 years ago when they first were able to break into the league here in Tulsa as the Roughnecks. Super excited for my friend Dave Saunders, the play-by-play voice, and the journey that they have had getting to this moment. And then pretty damn cool to see FC Tulsa featured on Big CBS at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Go get them, Scissor Tails.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma's own digital studio stream. Stay with News on 6 online and on television anytime for the latest news, weather, and sports.